in the beauty shop. 4 times outcast and it don't stop.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm back with another video. I have been wanting to discuss this for a while now. However, VH1 has been playing games with the viewers because they know that this is what everyone wants to see regarding T.I. taking his daughter, Deyjah, who is his eldest biological daughter, to her GYN appointments to see if her virginity is still intact. Last year, T.I. was interviewed by Nazanin and Nadia on their podcast called Ladies Like Us. Side note, Nazanin is also the wife of pop and R&B artist Miguel. During the interview, the ladies asked T.I. about his fatherhood and jokingly brought up how he parents his teenage daughter. It's pretty disgusting and it's rude and it's misogynistic of him to say those things, especially since Deyjah has come out since then and alluded to being sexually abused or mistreated in some type of way. She also has a YouTube channel in which she discusses mental health. I wonder if T.I. was aware of this and if he knew her state of mind and what she had been through as a child, because any father who knew that, even if your daughter hasn't been through anything like that, it just seems like any caring and loving father would not joke about such thing, and he would never say something like that. I know everyone is different, but it really kind of hit home to me when Deyjah came out and spoke about mental health. And, you know, I was offended for her. I felt disrespected. I felt like I was T.I.'s daughter and he had disrespected me, and it seemed like he made a mockery out of his daughter to the public. You know, it had to be so embarrassing for her. It is very concerning because there are so many girls who go through this within their families or male identified environments. And some may say that other people are making this a big deal, but it's very serious because people commit suicide over things like this. People lash out and change their ways. They change their entire course of their lives over things like this. And I'm pretty sure this has truly affected Deyjah. And hopefully she has talked to her father about it. And hopefully he has seen it and understands what that did to her, and he's willing to correct his behavior for the future. He has a younger girl who's like less than 5 years old, I think, and I would hate for her to go through this. It's just going to be a repeated cycle. It's repetition of mistreatment. Deyjah also described their relationship as just decent. Also said he plays victim, which led me to believe that every time that she comes to him with something to address an issue that she's having, he shuts her down, doesn't care that he offends her or hurts her feelings. And Deyjah does seem like a very emotional young lady, which girls are from their teenage years to their young adult years pretty much. Girls need their dads, and it just seems like T.I. is not concerned about straining his relationship with Deyjah, and it's very unfortunate because, like I said, she does seem like a very sweet young girl. She seems very intelligent, very grounded. I also would like to touch on Tiny. Understanding that Tiny is a stepmom, with her not being Deyjah's biological mom, I can understand her wanting to stay out of it, especially if she doesn't know Nico's stance on this situation. But my thing with Tiny is that who tells your husband when he's wrong? Who tells him when he's being ignorant? Who tells him when he's being inconsiderate? Who tells him when he's being hurtful? Because from watching the show, nobody likes to step up to him and stand up to him. The only two people on the show that I've seen ever step up to him from this season is looking like Nico and King. And that says a lot. That's your husband. That's someone who you procreated with and you decided to marry. You should be able to have your own opinion about this. You know, Deyjah was embarrassed. Aside from her two cousins, she has a lack of support. But maybe I'm wrong. You know, once again, I'm saying this from a viewer standpoint. Maybe Tiny did have a conversation with Deyjah and a sit down with Deyjah. I would hope so. It's just very unfortunate that this young lady has gone through this, and I really didn't necessarily want to talk about this because I just don't want to bring more attention to it. However, there are many other girls who I'm sure are going through these same things. She says a lot more in her interviews or talking heads than she does when actually filming with him. It really does make it hard for people, I guess women especially, to identify with a woman like Tiny because she doesn't speak up at all. Even though I slightly agree with her about staying out of it, me personally, I think I would have been upset with my husband. She could have said something to him, but like we all know and see from their relationship, it probably went in one ear and out the other because T.I. doesn't really listen to anyone, especially not a woman. And it's very unfortunate because he has a female woman-based family. He has a lot of women in his family. He has a mom and he has nieces and he has daughters. So I could only imagine how it feels to be in a family like that where your father or your husband or your son is very dismissive of you. He doesn't care to acknowledge your feelings and your emotions. In this episode, T.I. states several times that it was just a joke. Him thinking that this topic was a joke is very telling. For someone who tries to be this socially conscious warrior, he is considerably out of touch and much more conservative than he even knows. He also stated, why would I disrupt my energy with that when regarding why he has not approached Deyjah with an apology or a conversation about his wrongdoing. He said he doesn't even care unless Deyjah came to him, unless she had a problem with it. It was also disclosed that at one point or another, Deyjah snuck out of a house to meet a boy. This is apparently why he and Tiny thinks it's okay for him to accompany Deyjah on her GYN appointments to quote unquote check her hymen. This is a violation of her privacy. I mean, she's a young adult, she's a young lady, she's 18 years old, and it's humiliating to her. However, with his son, King, he makes jokes about King having sex and becoming a baby daddy. I know the public likes to think that Tiny is afraid of T.I., but for some reason, I don't really think she's necessarily afraid of him. I do believe the dynamic of their relationship is where he is the alpha, she's the beta, she's more docile and quiet. After seeing this episode, she's just on his level. They are both just as ignorant as one another. So it is no longer a surprise to me why they're together. I'm not a parent, nor am I married, but these two have opposite parenting styles. Like most parents, the problem is that it causes dysfunction, especially when you have a blended family like that, because you can tell that maybe Tiny and T.I. made a pact to not infringe upon each other's parenting styles when it comes to their individual children, i.e. Zonique is her child and how Deyjah, Messiah, and Damani are his kids. T.I. also mentioned that he uses logic to parent. Clearly you don't, sir, because if you were being logical, you would have never made that joke. And you would know that men are hypersexual beings and they tend to fetish young women, virgins to be clear. And Deyjah even mentioned being DM'd by men after this happened and seeing inappropriate comments. So you can imagine how embarrassing this was for her. By the end of the episode, he apologized and you can see he came to an understanding of his wrongdoings and his ignorance of the entire topic. Deyjah's mom also appeared on this episode and she stated that T.I. should get some slack because of his upbringing, not growing up in a household with women, etc., which she did kind of let him have it, and she pinpointed that he would not treat his sons the same way that he would treat Deyjah. I did kind of question her when she said he should get some slack, but all in all, I do think her making an appearance on the show to defend Deyjah was a very good look. This seems like a producer-driven episode to pretty much milk the situation. If you know the history of T.I. and Tiny's show, their viewership kind of went down. You know, people were really into it because Shekinah was on there years ago. It was very interesting and fun, but after a couple of seasons, it got kind of boring and stale. And so about 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, they revamped the show and added Monica and Toya and Reginae and LaToya Luckett and her husband. So you can definitely tell that they filmed these scenes and found ways to discuss Deyjah specifically. I just hope that Deyjah is receiving therapy, hence what I mentioned earlier about her vague mentions, insinuations. Since receiving all of the backlash from the interview, Nazanin took to her Instagram to address the issue and apologize.